viewer question that me and Mario will take the lead on. And then
don't worry, me and Chris gonna clean it up.
Wait, let me make sure put things back to order. Bam, right over there. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Blue pill, red pill.
Yeah. We the Voltron, that's Decepticons.
That's a good one.
Oh my God. Listen. So
where the Thundercat at?
Ooh. I'm about to say that you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang.
All right, we got a viewer question, so let's go with it, man. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Hi. This video question is to ask, how do you know when the woman that you're interested in or that you're dating is the one that you want to marry and be with for the rest of your life? This question is to the Black Super Friends. How do you know that the woman that you're dating is the one that you want to marry and be with for the rest of your life? Thank you.
That's easy.
Well,
I'll let y'all answer first, though.
The marriage and formerly married before we go to the max. And we got to come up with a turn. Listen, Chris, put this together.
Okay.
3 S's. Single, straight, successful.
Okay.
You guys, yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
good, boy.
I don't know how you use it, but put it together because there ain't a lot of us out here. Mario, take the lead on that.
Well, you know, I'm purpose driven, so here we go. It's time to go. So I always say that first of all, the criteria for me was what kind of woman was I gonna make it to the end with? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was gonna like last the test of time? Like, you know, because we never know what can happen, but how do I ensure that I get to the greatest, I ensure myself with the greatest odds of getting to the end? So then I had to start looking and taking accountability of like, okay, what do I want and what lasts? So then I had to say, at some point, Mario gonna have ups and downs in his life. So I need somebody who's gonna ride for me. So I had to say, you know, I need somebody who's gonna be there for me. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who care about me when it's not even they're supposed to. They're not even supposed to care about me. They just genuinely want to see me do good. And a lot of people use the word love, but I feel like I want somebody who on their own track in some kind of way, it seems to mirror mine. And they seem to mirror mine thought-wise. And I'm not talking about like I wanted to be an accountant, she wanted to be an accountant. I'm saying we want to raise our kids in the Christian house. We want to do, you know what I'm saying? Those morals are seen to be sound. I think I knew I wanted to marry my wife when I said I can see myself with her for the rest of my life. Through the thick and through the thin, I could actually see that. I believe that right now, she was the first woman I can spend multiple hours with in days without sex and actually feel comfortable chilling with you. Like, it's okay. I'm not horny and I still want to see you. Like, that was like whoa, I really want to just chill with you. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't even want sex that much. I just want to be in your company. That was amazing to me. And she was one of the first people that I feel like genuinely, you know, my daughter means a lot to me. And I feel like I watched her and my daughter build a relationship, and I was like, man, that like the mother intuition that she had, and just the way she used to talk to her and help her and just take a love for her. I seen she loved kids. So I knew that if I get married, I was gonna have another child and she would be the one. So to me, a lot of times women ask me like, what made me marry my wife? What made me marry my wife? But I'm gonna say, at the end of the day, I got myself right, and then I started searching in my purpose. And I think she is a part of my purpose. So as I got to the next step in my purpose, I think that God put her in my life to get to the next step in my life. So I think that I didn't really look for her. I think God placed her in my life to help me get to my next level, which is kingdom building. And I think every king needs a helpmate to help him build a kingdom. So if you ask me, I think you got to find your purpose first before you can look for or make a judgment on a wife to help you. Because at the end of the day, she's a help me. So if you don't have no purpose, then what will be her purpose? What would be your purpose in finding her? I hope I explained that good.
Right on, my brother.
Well, listen, can you guys hear me good?
Yep.
You hear me now?
Listen, at the time, for me, my choice at the time, I am single now, but I was married, and I don't regret it. The reason that I married and the thing that brought me to that point was, and I always talk about peace and prosperity. That was big for me. Someone like Mario says, where it's not all about sex, but you want that person. It's something about them that it feels like home. You know, it's something that you identify with them, whether it's that friendship, relationship. It's something about them that you can almost feel aligned with. Second of all, I had met someone that I cared about more than myself, as far as like I really had a concern. Just like when I had a kid, my life was carefree before I had a kid. But you know, once you have a child, once that baby came out, you guys know you were never the same. So thinking about your kid, thinking about your mate or your wife was, you know, and it gets annoying at times because you really want to go get something to eat, but now you got to make that call at what you want to eat. Oh, I'm not hungry. And you know it's a lie, so you got to buy extra food just in case. But I identified with it for peace and the prosperity. At the time, I felt like it was someone that I could take it to the door with. Definitely the spiritual aspect was something that I championed, because we both had things that we needed to overcome, but we also think that it made it. Sometimes a lot of people will fall in love with each other, and you don't know that you guys share trauma, and that's a whole nother show. So our lives were so similar that brought us together, almost similar how we came up, our family situation, and it was somebody that I wanted to champion and kind of go through it with. Um, the big thing for me was having someone that I know loved me enough, whether we were mad or sad. If I got sick, she ain't gonna pull a plug.
Dang.
Y'all think
That's real.
Cool. But hey, I have a friend that I work with, and listen, he got sick, but every day I would see his wife bring him his lunch to work, and I would be looking at, damn, like, bro, like, you sick and she still fixing you plates like this? And he ended up having a stroke, and she pulled the plug on him. And I never forgot that. You know what? And he had a big insurance policy. Sounds effed up, but it's real. You know, so I think for me and most men, women, you can be fine as hell, but that peace, when a man comes home, peace, people don't know how important peace is. And while we're trying to figure out life and figuring out who we are, I want somebody that's going to make me feel comfortable or make me feel safe enough to come to them and share what I'm going through. I'm not always perfect, but I'm always going to be real. So, hey, babe, this is what I'm going through, and trusting you you might have something to add to me. You might have something I need to hear. Because a king and queen are amazing together, because that queen also is some counsel. The king is powerful, but all through history, the queen has been important.
It's
so
real too.
Huh?
I said that's real. You can be the head, but you definitely need your neck. But in order to do this and do this. So I understand you. I also would like to hinge on what you said about the peace.
Yeah.
I took a lot of hate mail last week about my dialect, because I told you ladies, y'all need to learn how to shut the hell up sometime. And I want you to understand that that's where that peace come in. Listen, nobody don't care about you winning the argument or whatever the case may be. That man looking for peace. And if you keep yap, he gonna find it elsewhere. So that is huge. And another brother of ours, Mr. Kevin Roy, who's definitely a black super friend, said to me, my brother, he said, you find your wife, or matter of fact, I'll tell you what, he said, when I found my wife, I thought about how she treats me when she's mad at me. And his wife found a star. And I'm gonna have to model myself after my brother, because I heard, hearsay allegedly from my brother Horace that I'm hard to deal with. I don't believe it, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I heard. So for me, when I'm gonna know that this is the right person and she's gonna be able to deal with me, like Xavier, because everybody loves Zay. But then when Xavier pops out in Reasons, then it's a problem. So that woman is going to have to know me and know that my heart is a pure one. I'm going to do everything that I said I'm going to do for you, and probably above that. Like Chris said, we don't come asking for your money. We got our own, so we can care less. And let us do without you trying to tell us how to do, and keep that fuss. An old man told me, "Don't let them women bungle your jungle," and that's the realest shit he ever said.
Oh
You feel me?
geez. Oh geez.
I love him. What you got for him, Chris?
Honestly, well, it's hard for me to answer this because I haven't picked a wife yet.
Me
But
neither.
what I'm going to say is I'm not going to talk personally because sometimes I don't like to make things too personal. But I want to talk as if I was giving advice to someone else or another man. What I would suggest is you pick the woman that inspires you to be better, to be the greatest man that you could possibly be. The one that inspires you, not the one that fusses at you to do it, not the ones that demands it, the one that inspires you to do it. Just her having her makes you want to lose 20 pounds. Just having her makes you want to go back to school and get that degree or get that doctorate. Having her makes you want to start that business, or having her make you want to go up that corporate ladder at the business that you already in, man. So you want some woman that just sheerly inspires you to be better. I think the second thing is you want a woman that multiplies everything in your life. I seen a clip. I think it's Les Brown, a motivational speaker, where he spoke on women multiplying things in your life, and I think I don't know if that's completely true because I think that's generalization, and women hate generalization unless it fits
Preach.
that unless it fits them, whatever. But at the end of the
Suitable.
day, I think that's the perfect woman to have. That woman that you give her a house, she makes it a home. You give her groceries, she makes it a meal. A woman that multiplies in your life, not divides in your life. You know what I'm saying? And there's no special talent in being taken care of. None. There's no special talent in being treated well. There's no special talent, no special skill in accepting gifts. The skill is being reciprocal in relationships. That's the skill. It's not hard for you to just receive money. There's no talent involved in that. So you want a woman that multiplies everything, damn near every aspect of your life. And I think the last thing is you want to pick the woman that not only you want to procreate with, but you want to parent with. A lot of us want to get women pregnant. Men like a lot of men. I say it like this because Horace reminded me of this earlier this week. I have a saying: women struggle with accountability, and men struggle with responsibility. So at the end of the day, it's easy to want to get a woman pregnant, but it's hard to want to be a father, and for two to want to parent with that woman. Pick the woman that you want to parent with for the rest of your life. I'm not saying every single um, ideology or ideal is going to align, but you guys, the skeleton of what you want is similar. It's the same. You know what I'm saying? So again, I think that one of the number one thing is picking a woman that you want to raise a child with, because you can't. It's not arguable. It's not an argument that a two-parent child has a better chance at life. So pick the woman that you truly want to procreate with and parent with. And I think that if she's checked all those boxes, why not? I am a little older. I have been this podcast has gave me a whole different mindset on marriage and things like that. So if that was the case, then those are the criteria that I would choose.
Chris,
Well,
drop
before
the mic.
the ladies man up there interrupted my comment and my commentary, I
It's
like
the
to
Remy.
yeah, I'm gonna give you a remedy.
Ooh,
There's some keywords
pause.
that I want the ladies to hear, and it's not just the word. You got to unpack it. Safe, naked, peace. Again, a lot
Heavy
of
on the
men are
naked.
looking for a woman that a man can feel safe with. Meaning, hey, I can talk to you and I know my business ain't out there. I can, unpack some of these emotional traumas, emotional triggers that I had in life, that I can have a moment where I can talk to you, and maybe I ain't asking for you to give me any direction, just to hear me. Sometimes we just want you to listen. That's important. And then you'll see a man get naked. Naked in the sense where he's open to show you who he really is. Because men, hell, if you don't see it every day, it is hard for black men. So after a long day on the job in the world, a man wants to come home to some peace, He wants to feel safe, and he wants to be able to get naked with his emotions, because 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old men are three different people. And we're going through phases. We are still evolving. So the best thing about relationships is finding somewhere where you can evolve and grow with. And last off, the thing I didn't have before is grace. To say we both don't have it figured out, but we are making a commitment to do this thing together and try to figure it out and break some generational curses and make some wealth for the next generation. Did I get it right? Well, that's what I had for it.
Amazing.
One more.
Amazing.
You cannot be disagreeable. You're either going to be right or you're going to be with me. You need to pick. That's just what it is. If you got to be right all the time, you take your right ass to the left.
Hey, Chris.
I'm not dealing with no disagreeable woman. I've dealt with that before. I'm not going to continue dealing with no disagreeable woman. If you want to win every argument and you want to base your win on the smallest detail, then I'm just not wasting my time. You have to get on my program. I'm not Hitler. I'm not any one of these dictators out here. I didn't pick you to run the F up your life. I ain't F up your credit, do nothing like that. If you don't trust my decision making, then I'm not the person that you need to be with. If you don't trust my teaching and my preaching, then I'm not the person that you need to be with. I'm not going to be second guessed everything I say. I'm not going to have to walk on eggshells around you. You're going to have to be on my program, and you're not going to be disagreeable with me. Because again, I'm not going to do anything to hurt you, whatever we got established or whatever future we have. I'm not going to do that. I have no time. I got no benefit on crashing this ship. None of it. None at all. So I'm either gonna be the captain, or you're gonna get your ass out there on that binky and float back to shore. That's how I feel.
My boy.
One last thing, and you know what, this is important because me and Chris, every year, every couple months, I share this clip where this rabbi talks about love.
Mm-hmm.
I have had people that say they love me, and I understand there's a shortage of single, straight, successful black men. But for men and women, make sure the love that you have for somebody is not selfish. I've met a lot of people, they don't even realize it. Maybe it's a toxic trait. Your love is selfish. I give you an example, and this is just using Zay, is not your real life. Zay is a social media person. Everybody thinks he's funny, yada, yada. Girl goes in inbox. She thinks Zay is funny. She loves him, blah, blah, blah. But once she gets into Zay, and Zay didn't put that mouth on her,
Elizabeth, it's the big one.
I had to get you. So after that, all of a sudden now, social media is an issue. You always on Instagram posting. You always doing those things, but that's who that person is. So listen to what I'm saying. The rabbi talks about selfish. You see a flower, do you pick the flower? You went and grabbed the flower. You liked it, so you picked it. But now the flower died. If you love the flower, you will water the flower. You know the whole routine, Chris.
No, he talk about fish love. He said you love fish so much that you go catch it, put a hook hit it in his mouth, gut it, and then fry it in hot grease. That's how much you love fish. No, you don't love fish. You love what fish brings to you. You love the feeling fish gives you, but you can give a fuck less about the fish.
You love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch that thing over and over and over and over again. And usually we don't get deep like that because the person that gets deep and gives me some insight is usually Mario, or believe it or not, it's Chris. And Zaya comes along.
You every now and again. Hey, a dead clock hit the time right twice a day. Don't worry about it.
Well, the donkey talked in the Bible, so you know. I think he did. Damn. Mario.
I think it's interesting. I just want to sit back and listen to y'all because it's interesting because a lot of times, you know, I enter my marriage looking at myself as a shepherd. So it's often asked people like, what requirements do a shepherd have for the sheep?
No. He got it.
No, for real, like what, like, you know, a lot of times men use the words like king, head of the household, captain, shepherd. All of those are leadership roles. Mm-hmm. But then the same men out here say all of that have a whole bunch of requirement for the people he leading. So I'm sorry. That always, maybe it's just me, and I don't want to sound like the bear news, but to me, I think that a lot of the accountability go on to the man, because from the beginning of the time, God made us first. So he gave us the first discernment. He gave us the first dominion. He made man and said it was great. Us. Then from us, he made a helpmate to help us. So we were made in his image. Mm-hmm. She was made in our image. So a lot of times accountability go on the woman like, she got to do this, she got to do this, she got to do this. But I was always taught this. A great leader, great followers. So a lot of time when you hear a man who always complaining about his wife, always complaining about his house, always complaining about that stuff, you got to question his leadership. Because a good leader won't have all those problems in their house. I heard Chris say about arguing. If she trusts you and she trusts your judgment, she won't argue all the time. If she believes in you and she think you're the king that you are meant to be, she probably won't go against you that much. And I'm not saying every time. I'm saying it won't be a high enough amount to make it like aggravating to you. Because everybody gonna have flaws and everybody gonna have disagreements. But when it gets to the point where it's just aggravating, it's cringing you, that means you gotta ask yourself. Because a leader, you might have picked the wrong woman. Because we are pickers. So you gotta say, well, dang, she don't do this and she don't do this. But bro, you picked her.
Right.
So that goes back to you. So as a man, I take a lot of accountability on the woman I pick and how I run my household. Because if my house is in shambles, then it's two things. I'm not leading properly, or I picked the wrong woman. It all still go back to me.
That's
so old man say, you run your house or you run around your house. Which one you doing?
But listen, as much as me and Chris bumped heads originally, that is what our friendship is. At the beginning of our shows, we had some good segments. And the biggest thing that I took from this, and I thanked y'all a couple times, being accountable. When I was on this show, we came out of divorce and we talked about relationships. All I did was practice accountability. Even before I learned what accountability was fully on this show, being accountable. Some of the conversation I didn't want to have, but I had to. And I feel like now I am the best me that I've ever been in life. So I got to thank Mario and Chris for some of the conversations we had, because accountability is needed for your own growth. So I know this year, most of our beginning episodes was having accountability. That's why the approach I had was always talking about me, not trying to talk about the other person, because I can only control me. Chris,
he's still humble. He's still humble at bragging. He's talking about he's the best version of himself, overlooking the great city of Los Angeles. You think you slick, boy? You ain't slick. You ain't slicker than a goddamn can of grease, right? No, I know what time it is, man. But no, I do agree with you. I think that I think that what Hardy is saying is right, but I think it's more about responsibility than accountability. You have to be responsible for your house. It's hard. I understand picking the right woman, but your responsibility is to make this house the best house it can be. Your responsibility is to make your family that you help create the best that it can be. That's your responsibility, and to lead. Step up to the plate. That's why in our last show I was saying I thought that men should be forced to deal with their anxieties or their shortcomings.
Oh, got it, man.
Yes.
That's what well. Who cares when everything going well? You're a great leader when things break down and how you respond to it, because that's what life is. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond to it. So again, like, yes, we have to step up and be accountable to be leaders. We got to want that. That's the thing that we have to want. We can't go into trying to look for women that's yes, if she's better at clerical stuff, yes, delegate that to her. But that don't mean you sit on your ass and not do nothing.
Right. I think you got to learn. I think a lot of men got to learn. Let's see what happened is what Tootie say right now is true. He just said it's not a lot. See, we can't deny the truth, the elephant in the room. There's not a lot of single heterosexual men doing good, right? Cool. Right. That's not a lot, right? So because the pickings are slim, that don't mean you're ready for leadership. It's almost like if a job don't have no manager, then and it only got workers. That don't mean that it's a manager in a group of these workers. They just need to fill the job application, so they're gonna pick one of the lesser evils. And a lot of time when men get the job, because it's like you didn't focus on learning how to be a leader before you said this is my position and I'm a leader. Yeah. Like you gotta work on being a leader. Like leadership take discipline, but you don't have to work on that in a relationship. You need to work on that in yourself. Like you know what I'm saying? Like what you saying. So that then what Chris saying is true, because then you'll be able to step up and be responsible. But if you're not responsible before you get a wife, you just don't get married and say I'm responsible. If you're not a leader before you get a wife, you're not. Tomorrow I'm a leader. If you don't have no discipline before you get a wife, you're not gonna say, "Hey, I'm responsible for you and all my children." And here goes the discipline. We're gonna save money, bro. These are things that you need to be working on as you court, as you date, as you preparing yourself. Like Tuda said, he's the best he's ever been right now. So that means after his divorce, he started chipping away at his foundation and say, "Let me rebuild my foundation so I can build a house on that." But a lot of times people just get out there and say, because he could have said, "Shit, it don't matter how important my foundation is. I'm still the top choice because everybody want to build houses now." And that's the truth, though. And that's what a lot of people doing. And us as black men, my heart, and I'm always gonna push that agenda because I feel like there's so many men who are great leaders, but they just not stepping up to the plate to understand the pressure of being a leader, and they just taking the job lightly.
All right, I'm going to pander to the women a little bit. They call me the ladies' man, but I'm going to be honest, Mario. Exactly what you're saying. It's a lot of men that are requiring things from women that they themselves are not able to reciprocate, meaning they want to reap the benefits or the rewards before they do the work. So as my brother said, do the work. Make sure that you have your shortcomings in check so that when you're demanding or asking these things, you shouldn't demand anything from a woman. When you're asking this woman to fall in line, to trust you, your guidance, your everything, your tutelage that you're having, you yourself have already worked on them with yourself, because we're the worst critics of ourselves. In order to get that woman is going to follow you by your leadership. Once she sees the things that you're saying, you're doing, she going to want to get like you anyway. That's any woman. They talk like you, they act like you, they pick up your mannerisms once they feel like, shit, he know what he talking about. Right. But if you just requesting and you ain't doing nothing, you a bag of hot air. And this is the reason why I think a lot of women get that piece you talking about, Chris, that disagreeable, because you are short. Right. You didn't do your work.
Draw 4, reverse 2. Take that SIM card back off the goddamn crown. Damn. A lot of women, listen, don't act like it's all on them. A lot of women have to take responsibility for their bad choices. Because a lot of homosexuals, there's a lot of dudes that they know. So I don't want to hear that crap. But
it's a lot of niggas that lie too. So they are not all wrong.
That's the game.
So you say, but that's what happens. If we're presenting ourselves as the king, the leader, the shepherd, the head of the household, the head honcho, you got to listen to me. You got to walk the same talk that you're presenting. Don't send your representative and then hit the snooze button, because that actually empowers the women that be killing us with the sideways talk. The guys that don't do the things that they need to do.
Chris, handle him, Chris.
I'm not.
He can never handle me.
My brother had a rough week, so I'm not gonna do that. But what I will say is this: if we're not all born leaders, we're not all born leaders, but I think that it's in us in certain ways. What I would say is, the best way to tap into it is look at your resources. What does your homeboy do? Is he a manager? Talk to him. Is your homeboy married? Did he seem like he got a nice home? Talk to him. Who you work with? Talk to the guys you work with. Men need to start talking to other men. We need to see what another man is doing and say, okay, well, help me, tutor me, or mentor me, or whatever the case may be. Because we're not going to know. We're not going to always know. We're not going to be because a lot of times we're not put in these positions. When you go to think about it, when you at work, how many times have you was hired by a black man? It's rare that we hired by a black man. How many times you was taught in school by a black man? So these leadership and authoritarian, I hope I said that right.
Authoritarian.
Whatever. That word.
Yeah, him.
Those roles are not, seem to be foreign to us. So we have to, for one, seek out those type of roles, or seek those roles out independently through our own endeavors, like our own entrepreneurship, or we need to counsel and mentor with guys that know what they do, and swallow your pride and talk to another man and ask him what's going on. Man, I'd lean on my circle all the time. Hardy will tell you right now. Me and him had a couple. He's younger than me, and me and him had conversations about management because I know he's been doing it. So let me pick your brain. How do you hire somebody? What are you thinking about when you have to discipline an employee and all those things? So it'll better sharpen my skills. So, but the number one thing is making your circle better. You know what I'm saying? Stop hanging out
exactly
with
what I was saying.
Gotta be on the work,
I agree. You got to seek.
work.
That's my point. I'm just saying seek that. And I agree with exactly what Chris, because what happened is you'll sit there and say, and you would get into it and say, I didn't know. Bro, you never said nothing to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I agree with Chris was saying, like, as black men, I'm not saying nothing against white men, Asian men, anybody else, but this is who I'm talking to. As black men, dog, we do, because it's a lot. Like right now, Derek Burns is in the comments, right? My goddamn grass wouldn't grow. So my brother was like, shit, I had the same problem, bro. Do you know me and this man been talking about grass, like where to grow, dog? You think I'm supposed to? He like, I can help. Well, then help me. Like one thing about me, bro, if you can help me, help me. Tuda said something about stocks. My wife had just said we need to get more into stocks. Because I called Tuda like he got there Merrill Lynch. Hey, what you think about this one? Oh, I don't know. Hold on. Dog, I'm saying it baffles me. When I had a problem with my taxes, when I'm trying to get my stuff together, why would I not call Zay and Dre? I just didn't understand like how people be having people right around them and they'll be like, man, they ain't do it. Bro, reach out and make it and humble yourself and say, bro, I want to learn how to be a better man. That's all it is.
That's what it got to
iron
be.
sharpening iron. We use all them cliches, but then when it come down to the point of using them.
Yes, sir. But you know what? What he said, and exactly what I was telling y'all, man. You got to work. He's telling you got to work, and that's all I was saying. Hard for the guys that's requesting certain things, do the work on yourself first, and after she'll do everything that you say. Say it again.
It is a decision to grow.
Yeah, fact.
You have to get to a point. So we're this right here is because outside our circle, there's motherfuckers that ain't trying to grow.
And we can't fool with y'all. We love y'all.
Transition. We know our background, bro. You know how hard it was going from one angle to a job making $9 an hour.
I struggled daily.
Work, and I became same joker. Became an operations man. Went in the government for decades. But where I came from, and like Mario said, that it takes a village thing. Don't understand just a kid. It takes a village. Yeah. So when I talk about a lot of stuff, I'm not the smartest in the room. When I have made these new connections, my new friends that I've met in the last year, y'all have been in those circles. You know what I mean? Right. Hey, come with me down to a meeting in Miami, Mario. Hey, Chris, I seen this. Think about this. You should trademark that. Zay, Thursday night, come out to the Smoke Inn. Want you to shake hands with a few people.
Right.
We made a commitment and a decision to be better. Right. A lot of people ain't making that, man. It's almost like you're wasting your life.
And I think that women get one more thing. I'll let y'all go. I think that a lot of times when women get that mixed up is this: you look at a good dude and say he a good dude, so he probably can give me good advice. See, he might be a good guy, a good dude at heart, like his heart is good, but he might not have it figured out enough for you to get advice. I just never understood this. There's no way I'm gonna talk like right now. And I didn't before I got married, I didn't talk to a bunch of women about how to pick a wife, because how would they know? They got picked. But it seems like a lot of women talk to men about how to be a good woman. Like, bro, we don't know how to be a good woman. We just know what it looked like. Mm-hmm. So it'd be crazy when you ask them kind of questions like, so what kind of woman did you want? This I don't know how to make calls. I just know how I look when I want to get in one and buy one. That's them two different things.
I just want the baby, not the labor pains.
Yeah, shit, I know how to raise a baby, not have one.
That's what amazes me when I see the group of single women talking about relationships. I'm like, all of y'all are habitual single. Everybody in this group,